Hello, this is Hippo Development with several updates for Dropship Vanguard. Sorry for the delay, I've been sick and fell behind on the videos. In my previous update, I submitted my game to the Rate My Game Jam and had some family and friends test the minimum viable product. The only feedback I got was the temporary sound assets were hysterical. The best part of my game is the part that I was planning to remove. I guess I have no other choice but to lean into this. I will have to put creating new monsters on the back burner for now. I now only have two goals: increase replayability and add more sound effects of this quality. Boom! Thump! Pew! To increase replayability, I want to add achievements and unlockables. The game will keep track of the number of games played and the games won, explosions set off, bullets fired, bullets hit, and kill count. The game will have pop-ups each time the player reaches a milestone. Some of the milestones will unlock new abilities with new silly sound effects that can be used on all future playthroughs. If I sit down and do the math and planning, I can space out the unlocks so that, on average, a player will unlock one new ability each time they play. For example, say a player shoots roughly 50 bullets per game, then I could put an unlock at 500 points, expecting that they will, on average, unlock that during their 10th playthrough. It is now the Sunday before the game jam ends. I have made some improvements to the game. There are currently 3 unlockable skills: the grenade, the rocket, and the shotgun blast. During the development of these 3 skills, I discovered a bug in the code. Normally, monsters spawn on a timer, and once a monster dies, it also respawns. This way, there is always a constant but controlled increase in the quantity of monsters on the map. 10 seconds into the game, there should be roughly 17 monsters, and 20 seconds in the game, there should be 27. This particular bug was caused by monsters receiving multiple sources of damage in one frame. When this happened, multiple monsters would be spawned from that one monster's depth. Because of this code, I had instances where at 10 seconds there would be 30 monsters on the map, and at 20 seconds there could be upwards of 50. This had significant impact on the frame rate of the game in both the web release and the Windows release. Fortunately, I found a fix to it. With 2 working days left, I still have a bug that's killing the frame rate in the web version. Currently, the AI has 2 modes: a simple one that marches towards the drop pod, and a computational intensive one that follows the player. If roughly 10 or more monsters are following the player, the frame rate will tank in the HTML version. This happens quite often after 18 seconds into the game. I have discovered and fixed several more bugs. Apparently, the monsters were killing each other and giving credit to the player, and some of the monsters were actually flying outside the map. I rebalanced the game a bit. Players can only sprint while running forward now, so there's no more high-speed backpedaling. Monsters now move slightly faster than the player when the player is walking. After a monster reaches the dropship, it will begin sprinting at the player instead of just walking. The grenade's fuse has been reduced from 3.5 seconds to 1.5 to make it easier for the player. There were also some quality of life improvements. From this chart, you can see that as the game goes on, the frame rate starts to tank. Interestingly, you will notice that the frame rate is also terrible during the first 1 second of the game while the game is setting up. Fortunately, I don't care about the first 1 second of the game. I optimized some of the AI's code. This did not have an effect on the poor frame rate, but it was good practice. I ran some tests and found that the web development started to get iffy around 18 monsters and crashed at 19. So I added a limit in the web version so that there only could ever be 18 monsters at most. I also noticed that the game stuttered as it respawns enemies. Normally in a game, when a monster dies, I delete it and then would create a new one from scratch. Instead, the code will now teleport the monster to the new location and reset its stats and AI flags. This helped minimize the number of random drops in frame rate as the game progressed. Now that the game jam is over, I would love to share scores, but this was an unranked game jam. But overall, I can say this was passing success. I finished the game in the given time, had time to playtest it, and have others playtest it. It fit the limit of only being a 20-second game, and it was relatively fun. It was fun enough that the playtesters were willing to play multiple games in a row. That's it. Bye for now.